Did you know Nick actually hired Danny's real origin story from us? Today we're reacting to the ordinary secret behind Danny Phantom. Cue the
The scientific community would definitely want to dissect him like a frog if they knew.
Why were you afraid of the ghost anyway?
I'm guessing if we set everything the way it was when it happened, it'll happen again.
Wait, what?
Okay, everybody, it's time for the Danny Phantom Bible. Yeah,
the
we went through the
Danny
Butch
Phantom
Hartman
origin.
Bible with the Fairly Odd Parents and all
When
the
it's a Bible, they talking about
you can
origin.
check that out now.
And y'all
We
didn't
got Danny Phantom
actually
with
realize
an
that.
entirely different feel, but also a lot of similarities to what Butch was going for in the original show. The only difference is this one was written with another
was there
person.
something that
So
they
there's a
took
lot
out
more to Danny Phantom
that
than
we
you would
don't know?
initially know. For example, the parents' backstory is a lot more complicated than you remember. Sam is referenced to as Samantha, his crush for a lot of this Bible. And we even get surprising insight into a pilot that was never actually created. Why? Because Nickelodeon threw us in the middle of the action where
Also,
already
they
had his powers,
want us
which
to
has
know
bugged me
about it
until this day.
in the middle of the action, not like the beginning or the end. They want us to like get to know it before we get to like the actual part. I don't understand.
Luckily, these pitch pages have so much content that we could actually figure out a lot of the
mysteries. There is actually so
we've
much
always
content in
wondered
there,
about Danny Phantom,
and more
like
details
how
that we
the
really
accident
don't
really
know.
happened, like what the difference is between the ghost zone and the regular zone. And
What is the
makes
difference
Danny
between it?
actually
I never
ordinary as
noticed
opposed
that.
to any other
Like
kid
every
in his
time I
school.
watch
So
Danny
let's dive
Phantom,
into all of
I
this
never
and
realized
the
what
world
the
of
difference
Casper
between
High
them.
School with Danny Phantom's original pitch Bible. What's up, everybody? It's Johnny2000, focusing on 2000s movies.
I gotta say this, y'all.
So much.
When Nickelodeon been showing up, there were so many Nickelodeon shows that actually got cut off to a point where they were done like making that show, or they had like no other thing after the show ending. And I hate when Nickelodeon did that.
More. And as you know, Danny Phantom is one of the shows I've been able to do season by season.
Yeah, Danny Phantom one of the shows that I could like watch on a Saturday morning, eat some cereal or something, and
go ahead,
be real happy about watching it. Danny Phantom's the bell.
Are you kids ready to have a great
I have seen that film before.
It was created
I don't remember seeing it.
Also had help from Steve Marmol. Start with
Steve Marmol?
More so like talking to the audience as it's being pitched, with the main characters taking the first page of the Bible.
Yeah.
Danny Phantom. Your mom is brilliant, slightly nutty, highly respected, and a renowned physicist with enough Nobel Prizes lying around that you can make a wind chime out of. A really smart wind chime. Your dad's highly decorated,
we going with
reckless,
this?
And he's like a military test pilot that spent the first part of his life strapping himself to rockets and hurling himself into space and time.
He did?
Just to be the first, and
when did that happen?
Because he could. He's a great guy, but you can't help but wonder if the jet fumes have gotten him to be a little goofy. Your older sister is a beautiful, extremely intelligent high school junior that more than anything wants to fit in intelligent.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry about this sneezing.
Cool kids in school. When you're not fighting ghosts, demons, or which, by the way, demons is crossed out, and other unreal creatures, all you want to do is kick back with your pals and do what 14-year-olds like to do. It's not easy being a teenager and a world-famous super.
It's really not easy being like a teenager and seeing the world at the same time.
Intro. So who is Danny Phantom? What, you don't read the papers? Unless you've been living under a rock, you should know that Danny Phantom is a wisecracking, action-packed ghost.
Any superhero I can say, Danny Phantom is one superhero that you can actually tell they're actually the same person. The only difference about Danny Phantom and normal Danny Phantom is the hair. Like, the hair changes like a white or silver color, and that's it. Like, all the other superheroes, they wear like a mask to cover their eyes, or they wear a whole mask, or they wear a mask to cover their eye and just leave the mouth, and you won't know. Danny Phantom is not one of them who do that.
Superhero. Yeah, he could fly, he could go ghost and actually walk through solid walls and
fly, go ghost.
And he has the ability to control people for small periods of time.
Ectoplasm. I don't even know what that thing is. Ectoplasm or something.
The best part, he's
I don't know what it is that he be using.
Who could see, talk to, and fight ghosts on their own terms. It kind of sounds like Eliza Thornberry from the Wild Thornberries, like being able to talk to animals. I never considered that was like a huge part of this, but yeah, there's definitely a lot of episodes centered around it. Only a few people know that Danny Phantom is actually Danny Fenton.
A lot of people never realize that.
Sat in the back
like, you can't tell that
because of his skittishness and shyness.
That Danny only changed the hair color when he go ghost. That's it. Like, it's not that hard to not realize that they both the same person. He's not covering his face. He's He not changed the car. No, he just changed the hair color.
His friends Tucker and Sam started calling him Danny Phantom. They didn't mean it to be hurtful. It was all in good fun. And after the accident, it didn't bother him anymore. It ended up being more accurate than anybody could have ever believed. What a good start. So what's the show about? What would you do if you saw
what's the show
a
really
ghost?
about?
Not a wimpy whispering voice ghost, not a help.
It's a what would you do if you saw a ghost? Now, let's see.
Friendly ghost with big eyelashes, not even a Bruce Willis ghost. Normal guy who has no idea he's an actual ghost. We're talking about like a 50-foot tall blob of rotting.
So that was, and people thought Danny Phantom was when he go ghost.
Mystery meat.
They thought he was a 50 tall dude with muscle and everything.
Yuck, I'm not eating that crap. Would you run? Would you scream?
What?
Would you run then scream? Or would you tear it apart with your razor-sharp wit and amazing ghost-like superpower?
I don't know.
And to make it fun some more, maybe even say, yuck, I'm not eating this crap. You would if your name was Danny Phantom. Take Ghostbusters and mix it with some Johnny Quest and season it with a little
Danny
Buffy, and you have the
more like a
simmerings
Ghostbuster
of what
person.
Danny
Is he
Phantom's all
busting
about.
ghosts?
Essentially, Danny Phantom, and this is originally crossed out, is an action-adventure comedy about a kid who's thrust into extraordinary circumstances. Nope, it was changed to an action comedy in the truest sense of the phrase. Every episode of Danny Phantom is an adventure, with comedy coating every second of it. A kid who, through his unique combination of wit, charm, and, amazing ghost superpowers, manages to balance an extraordinary superhero. That's when they put Danny Phantom is an ordinary kid thrust.
That was they actually done.
Or in technical terms, oodles.
This video actually showed me what they really did with Danny Phantom before they actually continue making Danny Phantom.
But at its core, Danny Phantom lives in a world filled with weird, scary, and creepy, unexplainable phenomenon. Perhaps the best way to win is with a laugh.
Like, he lives in a world that is cut off from the ghost world and the human world.
Who else is going to be able to give a ghost a black eye? Why is Danny Phantom? Interesting. A very
Why Danny Phantom?
Tribute. Danny Phantom was the boy who disappeared at the first sign of trouble. He was a scared boy hiding in his parents' lab when he thought he was going to get whaled by the jocks and accidentally blew up the place. And when the accident happened at his parents' lab, he was the boy who got his amazing ghost-like phantom powers. He also accidentally released some ghosts that had been locked away for a long time.
Yeah.
Big ghosts. Scary ghosts that want to take over the world. And Danny, because he was a part of the problem that accidentally released them, feels it's his responsibility to put them back where they belong. Which is so interesting.
Yeah, Danny Phantom actually did do that. Because if you look at the show, when Danny Phantom did went and got that accident to get his ghost power, he did release, not like the very feeling, but he did release the bad one that when supposed to come out, and he felt like, hey, his fault, he gotta do something to put them back.
Powers and is trying to take down ghosts. I always wondered what it is with networks with throwing you into the action instead of setting up.
Hold up and pause. What would you do if you were a kid who actually blew up your parents' multi-million-dollar lab and got ghost power? Do you tell them, or do you hide it forever? Let me know in the comments right now.
The origin, like Danny Phantom needed. Yeah, like I get it. It's in the theme song, but at least release like a separate bonus feature later or something. I never really got that. And so Danny Phantom became the kid who was afraid of his own shadow.
Shadow? Who in the right mind would be afraid of their own shadow?
When he's not doing superhero stuff, he's just a regular kid who likes rock music, dumb TV, and hanging out with his best friend Tucker. Maybe even mooning over his platonic friend Samantha. Ooh, so they even set it up pretty good. Just entering the
so is Samantha the one who in love with Danny, or is it that hot cheerleader girl that in love with Danny? I don't know which one. I know the cheerleader girl been crushing with Danny, but is Samantha was crushing with Danny the whole other show? I gotta walk back on Danny Phantom to see that.
Ferris Bueller meets Marty McFly. Smart, funny, well-liked, and quick on his feet. So
is he really normal? Danny Phantom?
You know that kid in school you barely remember? He's timid, got picked on a lot, second or third best friend. Yeah, that's who Danny Phantom is.
Any superhero, I would say it's probably similar to like Spider-Man. I can't say like a different version of Spider-Man, where Spider-Man do get picked on most of the time in school, cause he's smart and stuff, but who knows?
And afraid of his own shadow. And this seems like
being
it's
afraid of your own
reiterating a
shadow
lot
is
of the
kind of
information we
stupid.
were like told
That gotta be
through
the
the
slowest
other
thing you
pages.
could ever done.
It's still cool that they gave him his own identity. I wish they like combined the
Identity.
Phantom and Fenton page just so they could like specifically show the differences. But this part does have a lot of important things.
Alright, that part
like,
didn't make
all good
any sense.
superheroes, he needs
I
to
just
keep his
seen
identity
because I think I
to protect his
understand
friends
it,
and
but I
family.
really
Sure.
didn't even
But also,
understand
the
like
scientific
the
community would
real
definitely want to
thing
dissect him like a
he was
frog if
really
they knew about his
saying.
powers. And so would his parents, come to think of it. And quite frankly, Danny Phantom is afraid of frogs too. Yeah, it's bittersweet. Now that Danny has superpowers,
I don't blame you. I'm not afraid of frog. I just don't like seeing a frog or touching it. Now if a frog dead, yeah, definitely touching
But hey,
it.
that's the deal with superheroes.
Live, hell no.
Secret identity. And his secret identity is being Danny Fenton, the kid before he got his powers. It's his Clark Kent to Danny's Superman. Shy, quiet, stumbling, and nervous, but always with a smile.
You ain't wrong. Danny Phantom is like Superman. Because Superman don't wear no mask or anything. And all he do wear a suit, a cape, and he just take off glasses. And nobody realized that Clark is Superman. Because they're literally the same person and not that difficult.
The real world of Danny Phantom. The Fenton family lives in a densely populated residential area near a Midwestern city, much like Chicago. They reside in this ordinary 3-story brownstone home, much more ordinary. It's also Fentonworks, a paranormal research company owned and operated by Danny's
when
parents.
I saw their house, I seen like it like a townhouse something,
Danny's parents do their research,
but they got like a little more room.
It's his home and their secret headquarters. How cool is that? And that's such a cool way to set up conflict. Then we have the unreal world of Danny Phantom.
Is it really a cool way to set up the conflict of Danny Phantom?
Non-fiction and fiction. In non-fiction, the stories about weird and fantastical things that usually happen are things that actually existed. The pyramids, the moon landing, dinosaurs.
Where these ghosts be existing? Like, what made these ghosts come into the human world and try to take over the human world?
Fiction. Stories about things that can't, shouldn't, or couldn't exist in the real world. Like ghosts, monsters, mythological creatures.
Mythological creatures.
And these two worlds, the real and unreal, are where Danny lives between. His parents are experimenting with the membrane between the real and unreal. And yeah, that's where there's the accident. The mystical barrier that keeps all ghosts, ghouls, and goblins letting them loose into our world. These creatures haunt Danny's town because they've re-entered our world. It's where they're the strongest. It's where they're now the most familiar and where they feel the most comfortable. You know your favorite comfy chair? A big, scary, terrifying, haunted comfy chair? At the same time, the accident gave Danny, and only Danny, these amazing ghost powers, making him the only person on the planet that could fight these creatures on their own level and put them back where they belong. The
only person that can actually go their world and beat the living crap out of them without having to use any weapons.
What does that mean? Might as well start at the beginning. He received his powers through a scientific experiment gone awry. Parents were attempting to open the barrier that separates the real world where we live from the unreal world.
What his parents trying to do is cut off the ghost world from their world so evil ghosts won't come and destroy their world. But Danny Phantom went and did that and that will happen.
Kind of funny, like adding John F. Kennedy and finding out who was the guy at the grassy knoll. Mozart, like there's so many.
Alright, now you just putting things in there here that didn't
their intentions are noble.
have to be in here.
The technology was supposed to benefit all mankind. The only problem is it didn't go exactly as planned. During the first trial run of the experiment, the dimensional barrier was damaged, and Danny, who wasn't supposed to be in the lab, was caught in the middle and essentially trapped.
I think he was trying to see what it was, but why put on the suit and walk in there anyway? I think he was like curious and wanted to know what it actually do if he actually went in there.
Amazing powers and the ability to cross from one world to the next at will. That's got to make you at least the most interesting guest at a party. And what are his powers
Danny Phantom,
Danny
for me, Danny Phantom power might be actually kind of sick, but then it's like, should I have a power like that or should I not?
Before he uses his powers, he utters a mighty catchphrase. Like every superhero has a mighty catchphrase.
What?
When Danny uses his own powers, he might even use the phrase "go and ghost." Maybe it's not
funny,
but it is catchy.
Be saying that.
When he goes
As before he
invisible
turned to Danny Phantom, He
with
always
any
say,
supernatural creatures
I don't know
that might
why
be in
he
the room.
always say that.
Make 'em red, so maybe they didn't mean to keep that. Control over living people for short periods of time by ghosting
Hey,
their bodies.
control
Interesting. The less
people for a
intelligent
short
the
amount of
person, the
time
longer
is
you
actually
can
kind of
control
sick.
them.
Like you
LOL,
got,
that's so
I don't
funny. Your
know
dumb
how
brother,
long
he can control
would
for a
that be
month.
if
But
you
somebody
had
smarter than
control
him,
someone.
like his sister? No way. Interesting. Transfer his phantom-like qualities to other objects, like riding a motorcycle. Danny can both change himself and the cycle into phantoms just long enough to enable them to both harmlessly pass through any object to him.
Go into an object long enough to pass to the ghost world with it at the same time? I thought you just can control people. Damn, I didn't know you can actually go through objects.
So he's able to fight ghosts with the amazing Matrix-like fighting skills. He can also make ghosts visible to us for a short period of time, which was crossed out. Interesting. And really drive his dad crazy with jealousy, because he wishes he could be the one with the cool powers. Okay.
If dad was doing that, I don't know how dad would be. Like, would it be called something different if it wasn't Danny who did the accent and was asking your father who actually did his own accent?
Then we got Danny's sister, Jazz.
Yep.
2, 4, 6, 8. Who don't
Jazz.
appreciate?
2, 4,
well, pretty much
6.
Everything and everyone.
Why
Tall,
the number?
Pretty, popular, and brilliant. Jazz should be the center of attention at her high school. She's the older sister. She's the wiser sister. And she could split an atom if she wanted to. She just doesn't, because she wants to fit in with her ditzy cheerleader friends. And to them, smart equals loser. My gosh, wow, the stakes are really high for her. So Jazz hides her brains from her brainless friends. Oh, that's kind of sad. Yeah, she's brilliant. In fact, she's much smarter than Danny. Which is why Danny can't control her when he goes ghost. Unfortunately,
imagine your older sibling knowing your biggest superhero secret just to blackmail you. Sibling energy is wild. If your brother or sister found out you had superpowers, what's the first thing they force you to do? Drop it below.
And her brother, she's constantly being caught in things that are beyond keen of a mere teenage girl like herself.
It's just like Didi and Dexter Laboratory. But with Didi and Dexter Laboratory, Didi be like destroying everything.
Brand spanking new DKNY shoes. Oh my gosh, a literal specific reference to a brand. That's so funny. She's the one covered in slime, controlled by the demon, or haunted by the ghost. Bad karma or weird magnet. It doesn't matter. If Danny's in the eye of a hurricane, someone is going to be blasted by the collateral weather. And that someone is usually Jazz. Bratty but brilliant. Jazz
usually it do be Jazz who always get like caught in the crossfire more than like Danny's friends and stuff.
She's snippy but imbued with her mother's curiosity and can't help but let a part of herself revel in the extraordinary world that she gets to be a part of. But deep down in her own way, she has potential to be every bit of a hero that Danny is. If only it weren't so uncool. Aside from Sam, Tucker, and Danny himself, Jazz is the only person on the planet who knows Danny's secret, and she's not telling us.
Yeah, she is.
Which is interesting.
Besides Danny's friends, she's the only person in Danny's family that actually knows his big secret.
But more importantly, because she loves having something to hold over his head. Okay, which inevitably.
Hey, that kind of messed up. That kind of blackmailing your
from their
brother.
Junior high science fair, all the way up to winning the Nobel Prize, Madison Fenton and her husband Jack have been competing in pretty much everything. And in the end, they won each other. Maddie's 40, brilliant, and a little bit nuts. One of the world's most respected theoretical physicists. She's the one called...
Wait, that's 5 years different.
5 years different. Why the walls are suddenly bleeding, or why statues on their buildings are talking. Unfortunately, steeping herself in that much weirdness has rubbed off, making her a little weird herself. Then we got Danny's dad, who's 45 and not much help. He was a test pilot, engineer, ex-spy, you name it, he's done it. With one big, gigantic risk after another, he finally settled down with Madison in a perpetual...
She's using Jack done everything. I thought the wife did everything, but for Jack to do everything, hey, I gotta give him props for that.
Midlife crisis, always wanting to leap into action and always either further complicating a situation or needing help out of it. He's all action and action phrase, even when he's just the dad. He even walks around all the time to test his pilot suit out, even though he barely fit. In it 20 years ago too.
Why are you trying to do that?
Why?
Why?
Together they're the perfect couple. It depends who you ask. That's funny. She's the genius with a billion ideas, and he's the adventurer. Now they both alternate between running Fenton Works, a think tank and research-type company that consults with people who are having problems with the paranormal. Mom and Dad have no idea Danny accidentally got his powers. Danny's mom
they really
never
don't
let him out to fight ghosts, and his dad, quite frankly,
to this point,
instantly demanded
I
to be
don't
his
think
sidekick
Danny
and take all
ever
the
told
credit.
his parents
Who needs that grief?
that he
But then we
is
have a little insight
actually
into side characters like Danny's high
Phantom
school.
the ghost.
Tucker, Sam,
And
Dash,
I
and
think
Mr.
he
Lancer.
would never tell his
Regular
parents
kids
that.
have regular friends, and Danny Phantom's no exception. Tucker's your average 14-year-old African-American male whose best friend just happens to be a ghost adventurer. Tucker and Danny have been pals for as long as they could remember, trading baseball cards, comic books, and jokes since before they could walk. When Danny's life changed, Tucker remained his only friend, totally unaffected by all of it.
That's
he remained
crazy.
the same friend to Danny that he
That's
was before the
crazy
accident.
to know that
Touchstone
your
to reality.
only best
The one
friend
guy Danny
was
could
to
run
die.
gadgets that Danny is
And I
gotten
don't
for him
blame
by
him.
braiding
But
Mom
that
and Dad's
actually
lap. The goggles let him see ghosts, backpack
for
that lets him
a friend to
capture
do
them,
that.
and occasional random jetpack that Dad was saving for a rainy day. But after all those
Jay
weapons,
Marine
Tucker's
Day.
biggest weapon is his mouth.
Marine Day.
He's the funniest guy Danny knows, and unfortunately, his mouth gets Danny into trouble with his parents,
Wow.
his teachers, and of course, the ghosts. Tucker is Danny's loudest advocate and biggest fan because he believes in him ever since they were kids. Aw. Then we
Alligator. That reminds me of Paul Heyman from WE. Y'all know nothing about WE because I don't post anything about WE or wrestling content on the channel, but I love watching wrestling. And it made me think of him, where Paul Heyman got so much client that he go to, like if one client lose a belt, he go to a newer client that actually champ, and then when that client drop the title or drop the legacy of what the character is, or is even if they don't got the title, he go for the next client. Like, I don't know why Paul Heyman do that.
have Sam, who is listed as Samantha throughout this whole thing.
Yeah.
She's also 14 and is not Danny's girlfriend. And Danny isn't her
Not
boyfriend.
sure.
Very
She's
defensive.
the only girl in that
cynical and
group.
sarcastic, not giving a damn
And
about being popular. Sam
you
is the
think-
exact
don't
opposite
think
of
that
Jasmine,
Danny
a
wouldn't
goth
go for her?
type that hides her good looks with baggy clothes and an encyclopedia
Yeah.
of conspiracy theories and paranormal activity. She's a cute girl who loves all things geek. Danny and Samantha want to share their friendship.
she love all
The
things
accident that
golf,
gave him his
like
powers
emo,
caused
good.
a
The
cosmic
way she
bond
dresses
with him.
in
When
her
he was in
hair.
the hospital
And
recovering,
then she got
still
the
a glow
like
from ectoplasmic energy,
eyeshadows
with
and
nobody
stuff.
looking
So I
for,
thought
she
she
gave
loved
him
like the
just
golf
get
emo
well kiss on the
type.
forehead. And that action, letting her guard down, coupled with the ectoplasmic residue, was just enough to create this weird, undeniable bond, allowing them to sense each other, no matter how many miles or dimensions they are away from each other. Aw. Sometimes it's a feeling, sometimes a vision, and sometimes they could hear each other's thoughts like a walkie-talkie. But the bond is random and unpredictable, just like the state of their friendship. Basically, she's the only one who could see or hear Danny, no matter how visible or intangible he is. This, of course, drives Tucker nuts because he's known Danny the longest.
Yeah, Tucker
Life doesn't
didn't.
always
Tucker
honor
knows
seniority,
Danny longer
you know?
than
Sam and Danny
Samantha.
belong together,
But
there's still
for
so much
Samantha
similarity between
to actually know things like that, make it feel like Tucker really know his own friend than Samantha know him.
the Danny's parents and these two, they refuse to admit it.
Yep.
Until then, he's happy to play the part of optimistic, smart Alec, while she plays
Smart
the
Alec?
part of brooding pessimist.
I
Really
see
is
what-
how
I-
she
I-
is.
I don't
Then we have
know.
Dash. He's the big
Is it-
man
is
on
it
campus,
blew
the
off
guy who
my
every boy wants to
mind
be
from
like and every girl
somewhere
wants to
else?
date. He's also the jock that wants to pound Danny, and the reason Danny was hiding in the lab.
Oh, he like
all night.
Flash
Dash
on
is
Spider-Man.
the letter jack
They
of
both like
football
the
hero,
jock
cookie
of
cutout guy.
the
He's popular now,
main
but in 20 years
superhero.
he's gonna be puffy and selling
So,
insurance.
yeah.
There's nothing Danny loves to do more than make Dash look like the foolish punk he is, be it as Danny Phantom or
And
Danny
Danny do be making
Mr.
him
Lancer's
feel
the
like
English teacher
he's
and
fat
vice
and
principal
tough
of
and
the school.
anything.
He's the kind of strict authoritarian that makes it difficult for kids to even go to the bathroom, let alone disappear from class to fight monsters. Lancer has no clue Danny Phantom as Danny Phantom, and could care less.
Yeah.
To him, Danny Phantom is no big deal. A
Yeah,
ghost kid is just
him,
another kid not listening to the rules.
you feel
If
like
Danny
Danny
wants
Phantom
to
is
escape
just
class long enough
Danny
to battle a
Phantom.
ghost,
He
and
don't
it's between the
care
hours
if
of
Danny
9 and
Phantom
3,
is like
he's
the
gotta be
ghost
creative about it,
person
or a
that
monster
can
will
fight
destroy
off
the
ghosts
city.
and save the
Or
world.
worse, he'll get an F. Then the last page is, there are ghosts and monsters loose, and one kid who can fight them, and he's good with that. In the face of ghosts and monsters and other paranormal creatures that now stalk the Earth, Danny has two options. He could become the grim and grittier defender of the planet, destined to wipe the bad things off the Earth, get jaded in the process. But how much fun is that?
Yeah,
He can
how much
choose
fun
Spider-Man
is that?
path to play the role of superhero with a smile, a joke, and complete utter awareness until he gets to the places and things he needs to do that other people can't. The monsters he fights can be anything from truly horrifying to ridiculously stupid. Forcing
Like,
Danny
the monster fight can be from being at the easy level to medium to hard, and then right when you think you got so difficult at hard, you go to extreme or legendary, and you got it 10 times worse than hard.
On his feet. 1 minute he's battling with a ghost who has figured out how to control every jackass yammering on their cell phones, and the next he's
I think trying to think about control.
By a gigantic
Isn't
glob
think
of
about
sentiment
controlling
chocolate
Ben
pudding.
or people?
He gets to live the life of a rock star
or the world
with superpowers and save the world each and every day. His world is our world, pushed to the fantastic. Yet he's fraught with danger. I mean, he's 14. He's gonna live forever, right? He'll worry about the repercussions when he's old and gray, like his sister. All around, a lot of information here that is pretty important. I can't believe I didn't understand that much of the backstory or about how Danny's ghost experiences
I don't know how
are
old
like an active
will be
guilt
right
that
now.
he had from that fateful day. Like, there's just so much that the show left out, and I can't believe how interesting this is.
I can't believe how Nickelodeon cut out so much shows that actually was so perfect that they should never turn out or end it so early. They ended so many shows on Nickelodeon for no reason.
It makes so much sense why this show became like so important and had like such a long legacy. So yeah, that was like an insight into the original pitch for Danny Phantom, and I'm not super surprised given
we just got the insight of Danny Phantom before we know Danny Phantom, the TV show version of him.
Chartman's history with making pitch Bibles. He's a very story-first person, but it was cool to like look in here and like unveil all the original thoughts that came into making this show.
Yo, if that video was wild, you haven't seen anything yet. I put my funniest reaction right here in this playlist, and YouTube thinks you love this special video next. Click one of those, hit the sub button if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.